Does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
Well, Trump certainly walks the walk. He doesn't just talk the talk when it comes to hiring foreign workers. The real question here, though, is are Trump businesses hiring foreign workers because Americans can't perform these jobs? I'm going to let you decide what the answer to that question is. But as American conservatives debate just how many foreign workers should be let into the country, turns out that President Donald Trump has repeatedly sided with the corporate wing of the Republican Party that absolutely loves the cheaper labor that is afforded to US corporations by essentially bringing people over with visas to do jobs that Americans would get paid more to do. So Trump is certainly putting his money where his mouth is, because this year, the Trump Organization requested even more foreign workers than they had ever requested before. I'm not even kidding. So we'll note that the Trump Organization is a conglomerate made up of Trump's business ventures and investments. So there are multiple entities involved here. That includes Mar-a-Lago and other golf courses. You have the Trump Tower and other hotels. Trump Media and Technology Group, which runs Truth Social. You also have things like Trump sneakers, Trump coin, that's the crypto side of his business dealings, and much, much more. But when it comes to foreign workers, according to Forbes, the Trump Organization requests them for either agricultural work at properties like Trump's winery in Virginia, or hospitality work at clubs like Mar-a-Lago. Our economy is basically like a service sector economy at this point. We don't really manufacture things the way we used to decades and decades ago. You're telling me that Americans can't do service jobs or work hospitality at your clubs? Obviously, that's BS, right? So the Trump Organization requests H-2A visas for the agricultural workers and H-2B visas for the hospitality workers. Now, in theory, those visa programs are supported or supposed to be utilized when companies can't find American workers to fill these specialized roles. But we all know that's BS, right? Now, look, agricultural work, I would say, is a little bit different, because there are very specific instances that I can point to where states decided, you know what, we're going to start cracking down on employers who are hiring undocumented workers. And so they focused on agriculture. They focused on farms that were doing this. And so these farm owners, the executives at Big Ag, like they just decide, you know what, we don't want to mess with these federal regulations, so we'll go ahead and only hire American workers or people who are here legally. And you want to know what happened? They had a really hard time finding people who were willing to work those jobs, even after they had increased the pay and even offered some pretty sweet benefits. Now, am I saying that all Americans are like, no, we're not going to work in agriculture jobs? No, of course you're going to be able to find some Americans, but a lot of these farms had a difficult time doing it, or at least that's what they claimed, okay? And I believe them, because their crops were destroyed as a result. I would venture to say they didn't want that to happen. But nonetheless, when it comes to hospitality work specifically, I am not going to believe for a second that you can't find Americans who would fill those jobs. And the notion that Americans don't have the talent to fill those jobs is not only laughable, but incredibly insulting. What he said in that interview with Laura Ingraham was disgusting. So let's get to some numbers, shall we? Now, to enlist foreign workers, businesses need approvals from the Labor Department and the Department of Homeland Security. So just how many foreign workers is the Trump Organization attempting to hire? Well, the Trump Organization sought to bring in at least 184 foreign workers in 2025 for temporary positions. And that's actually a notable increase from previous years. So the company's visa requests have risen steadily in recent years from 121 in 2021 to a record 184 in 2025. During Trump's 5 years in office, the Trump Organization filed to bring in at least 566 foreign workers. And guys, look, I'm not necessarily against bringing in, a restricted number of foreign workers, but I'm sick of being lied to about why they're being brought in. Okay. Look, there might be some very specialized roles in which you can maybe make an argument that H-1B visas make sense, right? We're bringing in a small group of specialized experts in a specific field. It makes sense. But generally speaking, a lot of these visas have to do with helping US-based companies and corporations save on labor costs. They know that they can pay these individuals less than what, let's say, a college-educated American would expect to be paid. Let's just keep it real. And if you're a foreign worker, you can't unionize. I'm going to venture to say that that's also a motivation. When workers unionize, they have more of a seat at the table. They're able to negotiate through collective bargaining, and companies don't like that. So it's really a big win for corporations, which is why it's so unsurprising that someone like Elon Musk is totally in favor of this. We'll get to him in just a minute. But I do want to just say that's a notable increase, right? 121 in 2021 to 184 in 2025 in regard to the number of foreign visas that the Trump organizations are requesting. And these are jobs that Americans are definitely capable of doing. So the jobs, primarily servers, clerks, housekeepers, kitchen staff, and farm workers, pay between $15.58 and $27.91 an hour per Department of Labor listings. But apparently, Americans can't have those jobs. The Trump Organization has sought to hire 2,033 foreign workers since 2008. And again, all of this is relevant because at the moment, the right wing is kind of fighting about this issue. Because look, I think Trump's core base, the people who genuinely believe in America first, who genuinely thought that Trump was going to engage in a tariff policy in order to bring manufacturing jobs back to the United States, they're angry because they realized, oh, this guy's a con man. To which I say, yeah, this guy's a con man. He lied big time. And it's the cat's out of the bag in so many different ways, right? The Epstein files cover up has really infuriated a faction of the right. The fact that Trump, with his own companies, is requesting more foreign workers take these jobs that could be given to Americans. That's infuriated a portion of the American right. And you probably won't be surprised to know that Elon Musk is arguing in favor of bringing in foreign workers because he himself loves underpaying foreign workers. Let's take a look at what he posted on X. He says, President Donald Trump is right. We must distinguish clearly between companies that need to hire critical world-class talent from other countries versus companies that simply hire lower cost non-US employees to increase profits. You mean like Donald Trump? And by the way, why don't we produce those specialized workers here in the United States with our world-class higher education system? It is kind of amazing that our policymakers have failed the American people to the point where you have these corporate CEOs feeling real comfortable coming out and saying, yeah, Americans are unqualified scum and we need to import people from other countries to do these jobs. That's insulting beyond words. So anyone who's angry about this, I don't blame you at all. And I'm not going to read the rest of his post. I don't really care to. You can do that if you want.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.